Hi everybody, this is Jen from Cookies, Cupcakes, and Cardio.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make a sugar cookie, which is perfect for cutting out shapes for any sort of holiday or celebration you might need them for. So we'll get started going over ingredients and the equipment that you're going to need today. The ingredients for these sugar cookies are the following: 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup of butter at room temperature, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 tablespoons of whipped cream, 1 teaspoon of almond extract, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, ½ teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of granulated sugar. Some equipment that you're going to need to make the sugar cookies today is a rolling pin of some sort. I use a marble one because it is so heavy it pushes the dough around quite easily. I'm going to use my fondant mat, or you can use a pastry mat that you might use when you're making pie crust. If you don't have either of those, you can use just your regular countertop. You'll just have to adjust the amount of flour that you put down so your sugar cookie dough doesn't stick to your countertop. For a cookie cutter today, I'm going to be using a 3 1/16 round one, but obviously you could use any kind of cookie cutter for whatever occasion you have. I'm going to need a spatula to make sure I'm moving the cookie cutters up off my mat nice and smoothly, and a baking tray fitted with a piece of parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, you can spray down your pan or you can butter it. And also for mixing, I'm going to be using my trusty artisan mixer, but you can also do that by hand or you can use hand beaters. So now that we have all of our ingredients and our equipment set out, we are going to get started. So we're going to start out making the dough, and the first thing we're going to do is whip our 3/4 cup of butter, just to get it a little bit nice and fluffy. And I'm going to add in my sugar. And my 1 egg. Before I add in the other liquids, I'm just going to make sure I scrape down the sides. And I'm going to put in my 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of almond extract, and 3 tablespoons of whipping cream. So I'm going to whip this all up until it's nice and combined. So it's nice and light and fluffy now. So I'm going to get my dry ingredients ready to put in. Okay, for the dry ingredients we've got left to add our flour, baking powder, and salt. So I'm just going to sprinkle the flour in a little bit at a time. And alternate with my salt and baking powder. And we're going to mix this until it forms soft dough. So you can hear the KitchenAid start to work while it's turning here. And we're just beating it at low speed for this part of it. And it's starting to clump together, you can see that. And once everything is mixed together, what we're going to do is stop the mixer and then take the dough out. And it's getting right to that point where it's ready to stop, it's combined, it's lumping together, and it's even pulling up off the very bottom of the container here. I'm going to stop and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so once you've cleaned off your paddle and you've got your dough here in your bowl, what you're going to do is just approximately split it in half, and you're going to form 2 discs, and you're going to wrap them in plastic wrap and put them into the fridge to chill for 1.5 to 2 hours. So I'm just approximately dividing the dough up and flattening it into a disc shape. And then I'm going to wrap it with the wrap. And then just put that into the fridge for 1.5 to 2 hours. So I'm going to do the second one here as well. Then I'm going to pop them in for that time that we need. And right before you bring out your dough that's been in the fridge, what you want to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So when your dough is firm, turn your oven on and then come on back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so the discs of dough have been in the fridge for about 2 hours now, and you want to make sure that they're in long enough that they're nice and firm when you start the rolling out process. So that's the reason for putting them into the fridge. But what I'm going to do now is use some excess flour, and I'm just going to sprinkle it over top of my surface and then use my hand to spread out the flour. And this is done so the dough doesn't stick to your countertop or your pastry mat or your fondant mat like mine here. And then you're going to take your rolling pin and roll it into the flour for the exact same reason. So then taking your nice and cool or firm dough, I'm going to place it on there and you're just going to start rolling it. And the amount of thickness of dough we're going for is about 1/4 inch. Okay, when you have your dough rolled out to your desired thickness, or my suggested 1/4 inch, what you're going to do with your cutter is just place it somewhere near the edge. What you want to do now is a little bit of math that you had back in your elementary days and try to use up as much of the dough at one time as you can. So I'm going to get nice and close to each other and to the edges. If you've got any of these cracked pieces that you can see along here, make sure that you don't put those in. You can seal them together with your fingers, but it's just a little bit easier if you just re-roll the dough for the next set. Okay, so you can take off your excess dough. Don't throw that away because you're going to re-roll that. And then using your spatula or a knife, whatever you have around, you're just going to place the cookies onto the sheet about 2 centimeters or 1 inch apart. That gives them enough room to rise and to bake without touching each other. So now what I'm going to do with this dough is crunch it back up and then just re-roll it out again. If you need to add more flour at this point, especially if you're working on your counter, you might want to do that now. It's the perfect time. Mine is really good. Working with this fondant mat is really helpful. Hardly sticks at all. Just going to roll it back out, and then you can fill up another tray. So my tray is full, and what I'm going to do is put them, the ones that I've got cut out already, here. I'm going to put them into the oven, which is at 400 degrees, for about 6 to 8 minutes. You really want to check them around that 6-minute mark to see that they're nice and brown, and when you see that the edges are golden brown, then that is your time to pull them out. So I'm going to pop them in, and then I'll be back. Okay, so my cookies have been in the oven for 8 minutes, and and they're just getting to be golden brown. Now what I love is a little bit of chewiness, so I tend to underbake them just slightly so they're not too crisp. It leaves a nice soft center in there. So what I'm going to do is leave them on the cooling rack here, and I'm just going to let them cool for a couple of minutes, and then I'll take them off and we will close the video. So the cookies have cooled on the cooling rack here, and if you happen to notice that there's just a little bit of excess flour left over from the rolling process, just brush it off and it's fine like that. So we're going to be doing a following series on how to decorate these cookies using royal icing, and we're going to do things such as flooding and whatnot. So if you want to stay tuned for those, check those videos out. We'll be having them come up really quickly. If you want just a simple way to decorate them and you don't want to use royal icing, what you can do is after you've cut out the dough and you've placed it on the baking sheet, just sprinkle some sanding sugar of any color or whatnot, or even clear sugar, and just sprinkle it on the top before you pop it in the oven, and then they'll bake up with the cookies and they just give them a little bit of pop of color and they look quite pretty. So thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned for our royal icing decorating videos with the cookies. Thanks for subscribing to our channel, all of you, and if you haven't, make sure you do. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Thanks, and see you next time.